Hello there guys, how are you all doing? It's Steven here, back with another video. After yesterday's transfer video where I discussed the Georgina and Marez rumours quite a bit, I thought today I would kind of slightly gloss over them a little bit and go on to some new names that have been mentioned that people have been saying in the comments that I should discuss. I'll quickly talk about Georgina and Marez from what I've heard personally, and take this with a pinch of salt. Apparently we're actually making inroads in this and it could be done pretty soon. That's the rumours I've heard personally. Obviously I'm not some pro journalist, so you don't have to believe me if you don't want to. It's just what I've heard personally. But anyway, go and watch yesterday's videos. There'll be a link here above my head if you want to see them discussing a little bit more detail. But for now though, I'm going to jump straight into the Eden Hazard rumours. People have been saying, talk about Hazard. Do you think we'll sign him? Is there something there? Is he preparing for life after Chelsea? If I'm being honest, I don't think there is anything there. I really don't think there is. I think it's too hard a deal to happen. I'm not saying it's definitely not going to, but I don't think City have even broached it yet. I think maybe they've thought about it in the way that you think about every single best player if they become available. But I don't think City are genuinely sat there planning for a life with Hazard because it's just too hard a transfer to happen. It's nearly impossible buying a certain level of players, especially from rival teams. And Chelsea buying their best player, arguably one of the greatest players in world football, definitely one of the best players in world football, it's going to be like, you're talking 150 to 200 million pounds. I just can't see City paying that amount of money, especially given the fact that Guardiola and Calhoun have said that they probably won't spend that kind of money on a player themselves. They've said that publicly. Why would they go against those words and then actually go and do that? It doesn't really make sense. Given the fact that we're sniffing around Marez quite strongly, it doesn't make sense to me. I'm not saying we wouldn't want him. I just personally don't think it makes any sense. I think it's too hard a transfer to actually do. He'd be fantastic. He would improve this team because he's that good a player. But I actually, weirdly, in a roundabout way, I'm slightly more excited about Marez. I think it's just because, for me, Marez has got a little bit more to prove. I don't think he'd be an immediate starter. And the problem when he signed Hazard, and I say a problem, is that he has to start. You don't sign a player for around 150 million pounds and not play him, which would therefore mean someone has to be on the bench, and it would have been Sane or Sterling or Bernardo Silva. Whereas with Marez, he wouldn't come in ahead of any of them. He'd come in on a level playing field and therefore be in the squad on merit. And I think Hazard would get a little bit of an easier ride given his transfer fee. So I'm kind of slightly more excited about Marez personally. But Hazard, if it happens, I'll be delighted, obviously. But I don't know. I'd rather someone like Marez personally because I think he's got more to prove. I think he'll fit into the squad a little bit better. And I don't know, that's just my personal preference. Let me know in the comments what you think and if this Hazard stuff if there's anything to it. Personally, I don't think there is. Sorry, guys. Another one so many people have been asking me to talk about is Matthias de Ligt. I have no idea how to pronounce that, and someone will surely correct me in the comments. The Ajax wonder kid. He's been absolutely fantastic for the past year for Ajax. A rock at the back despite his very tender years. Strong, powerful, a great tackler, great on the ball as well, very Guardiola, and very aggressive going forward as well. He has this brilliant ability to pass it out of defence or even drive forward. He's basically the perfect Guardiola kind of centre-back, and some people see him as a long-term successor for Vincent Kompany if he came to Manchester City. A lot of people saying his ceiling limit is ridiculously high. He could be the perfect centre-back for Man City and maybe the best in the world one day. Now the problem is we have a lot of centre-backs. Kompany, we have Laporte, Stones, and obviously Otamendi as well. I can't see any of them leaving in the summer, and the big problem there is where does someone like De Ligt get game time? Well, maybe we could go to three at the back, but obviously that creates a further imbalance in the squad, and it also relies on us always playing three at the back for him to get on the bench, or at least so not to be left off the bench, which creates problems in itself. This one is one that I think City are just watching and monitoring and deciding how this is going to play out before they actually go for it. I do believe we are interested, but I think it's over £50 million. And what do? You don't sign someone £50 million and then loan them back, do you? I don't know. I think we go for him, we'll just buy him. I don't think we'll loan him back. But at the same time, we might just think, we'll give it a year and hope he's still there. It's a very interesting one because I'm all for grabbing these players, but he has to get game time, otherwise his development will completely stall. In an ideal world, we'd sign him and keep him at Ajax for a year, and then Kompany maybe retired next season or move on, or someone will move on, and then he'd step into the squad. I say ideal world, I don't want Vincent Kompany to retire, but you know what I mean. It's going to be difficult, but though I do think this is one to slightly keep an eye on. I don't think it's a priority in the way that Georgina and Marez is personally. But let me know in the comments once again what you think of this and where you'd like to see him at City if he did come. And a quick one on a potential exit for the Eredivisie's best left-back of last season. That is, of course, Angelino. He was excellent last year and got in the team of the season over in the Netherlands. But he could believe in Manchester City. He's 21 years old now. And apparently City still have some worries about his defensive capabilities. That's the rumour going round. Going forward, no one can deny his ability. He's absolutely fantastic. Just creates a ridiculous amount of chances. Technically excellent. But he does have some defensive frailties. And he is 21 years old. And it is going to be hard for him to get games ahead of Mendy and Delph, who looks likely to be a left-back again next season. It's just difficult for Angelino. I suspect now City are looking at people like Maffeo and Angelino, maybe Manu Garcia and Angus Gunn, and thinking, we'll sell these now. We'll just sell them, get a decent little bit of money, and then put a substantial buyback clause in there. So say you say Angelino for £10 million to PSV, who apparently the favourites to sign him, and then we want him again in 2 years. We get him back for 35. It sounds like a lot of money, but given the fact we would have sold him for 10, 25 million for a potentially world-class left-back isn't a big deal. I mean, that's just me guessing figures. It could be even cheaper than that. But I think City are going to looking to do this from now on, knowing that they can't provide the game time that some of these young players actually need. And when you think about the chairman's interview as well, he was definitely implying that City are becoming a bit of a football factory for these young players. And I think this is something we're going to see a lot more of going forward. I don't necessarily love it personally, but it's just a necessary evil, I guess. I mean, we can't play all these players. I would much rather Angelino go and actually make a career somewhere and settle into his newfound confidence than just being sent on more and more loans personally. I just want them to go and develop. And if we get a good buyback, that'll be ideal for me. I think he might get a chance in pre-season, but I don't think he'll be at City next season. That's just my honest opinion. I'd love him to be, but I think a move would favour all parties. Anyway, guys, it's just a very quick transfer target video for you. Hope you enjoyed it. Go and check out yesterday's on Marez and Georgina. If you haven't already, like this video, subscribe, tell a friend to come and watch it and support the Manchester City channel, and I will see you next time.